hit record. Just so we have that. We don't have anything specific to talk about, but it will be good if there's anything that someone else has a similar question to help answer their dilemma. Sure, I've got my MILS up and I do. I'll move it to a different screen so I can still see you guys. And admit. There, I think people are now trickling in. 3, 4, 5, 6. Deborah, I'm guessing Rick Cat is Simone and Greta.
Must be.
Yeah. Hi, Barbara. See, Lee, Maureen. Nobody else. So I'm just trying to match them up against the list.
Hi, it is Simone and Greta.
Hi.
Did you know this is a MILS meeting, not Minerva?
Oh, so we're not supposed to come to this. Oops.
Well, you're welcome to listen, but we're really not going to be talking about Minerva issues.
Oh, well
But
then
it may differ.
Yeah.
I hope you have a lovely day then, and we're gonna go.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
You're Heather from Maine Medical Center. No, Millinocket. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, we've got most of us here. So it is 11:03 now, and we're recording. So I think if we have any questions out there, any conundrums, whatever have for cataloging issues, questions, how to do something in the system, now's the time. So feel free to unmute yourself and chime in. Or if for some reason you can't and don't have a microphone, you can also put it in the chat as well.
Yeah, we don't have a program today. We're just here.
This is a chat where you have a question, you want to know how to do something, you've got some weird thing on your shelf. And if not, then I guess we're good. Yeah, feel free.
So please forgive me. Lynn knows I bug her so much, but I just came on July 2020, so I'm still learning a lot for sure. But one of the things that I really want to know how to do so that I'm not so dependent on Lynn and her team is this library of things and how things get cataloged that way. In terms, like, we have a telescope and people walk by it and say, oh, that looks nice. And I'm hesitant to encourage it to go out because I still haven't got a barcode on the darn thing. So, what's the best way to catalog things in the library, I guess?
Well, you would treat it as a physical object, a 3D object. And really the best advice I can give you would be to go to the Minerva catalog and poke around and see how other people have cataloged things like telescopes. I know that there are several bib records in there for telescopes in particular, and there are some other things too that you'll find. And chances are the records that you end up with are not going to be really fleshed out. They're going to be somewhat descriptive, but the idea is just to get it in the catalog so that people can borrow it. So I would suggest going to the Minerva catalog. If you want, I could send you some records to look at that you could sort of use as a template.
That would be awesome.
I don't know what library you're with, Deborah.
Bose.
Bose, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Link, but-
And also the Curtis Library in Brunswick, which is another Minerva library, but you can go to their website online and, and poke around there. They have a huge library of things.
Posted an Orion Star Blast telescope that a lot of Minerva libraries are
Yeah,
attached to.
right.
Curtis
And I
is-
think Millinocket is another library that has a library of things.
Mhm.
So, look at some of those records and see what you can do to copy them. And then if you want to send me a link so I can look at the record and let you know maybe what might be needed, I'm happy to do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, and also, no, I'll send you some information.
If you could send that to me, Ellen, or
Sure.
when we send out the recording so that we can attach that guidance or examples so that others, whoever watches it, can view that as well.
I will do that.
Okay, and I see Lee, you had a question.
Yes, so I hope you can help me. So I was looking for a print title yesterday that we had, and actually we were weeding it out, but I was trying to see what other copies of the same title were still in the MILS catalog, blah, blah. And could not get my copy to come up. So I had two other records that popped up. And I thought, well, that's really weird. Maybe it's not cataloged, but it had our 14-digit barcode in it. So I assumed that it was in there. And so I scanned it and it popped right up. So the reason it did not pop up with the others is because it had a subtitle attached. And then it actually in the same field in the bib, it also had the title, the subtitle, and the author. And is there any way that MILS cannot be this persnickety? Like more, even when I did a keyword search, it still didn't pull it up. So there was something in that
Sounds like
line.
maybe the indexing possibly.
Yeah, can I take a quick look at what that record was? What's the title?
No, because I deleted it yesterday.
Oh,
It was a
never mind.
It was a weeded title. And
Okay.
I finally just, scanned the barcode and
Right.
then deleted that bit.
So the other records did not include the subtitle, is that?
Nope, just had the title.
Okay, so that would be an example of without being able to look at the records themselves, I would almost say that that they would have been substandard records if they did not include the subtitle,
Okay.
because that is a
Well, here's
requirement.
the problem though, okay, so not in this particular case, but say there's a different case and I have a patron looking for it on the OPAC. Ours is going to be the one that doesn't pop up if they just put in the title. So it looks like we don't have it in our collection. And this is just fresh in my mind because it happened yesterday, but it has happened, it has happened in the past. And I don't want to, pardon me for this, I don't want to dumb down my title
Mhm.
field, right? To make it so it will pop up, but I can't figure out how to make it easier to find for a patron.
Mhm.
Well, again, without that example, it's hard for me to say for
Right.
for certain what the problem was. But I know that often when someone's entering a record for something that does have a subtitle, they'll put that full title and subtitle in the 245 field. But then below that, they'll put in an alternate title that just has.
Right.
And that way you do have access both ways.
That is actually a good idea. Let me make it.
Do you know what subfield was used? I know that's just out there, but I can check and see if maybe it's omitted from the OPAC as well, because we can turn on and off pieces. So it's possible it was that, but I know I've seen subtitles on
So
other records
this,
now.
so this thing that I'm talking about was in 240, so you guys get that right. I'm not even sure there was a 245 field, although there might have been, and I just didn't register it because I only, had so much time to fool around with it, trying to
Right.
figure
Well,
out
the
this
next time you
mystery.
see something like that,
Yeah.
just email me or open a ticket and
Okay.
don't withdraw the record quite yet.
Okay.
Um,
One other question.
Yeah.
So I have this lovely brand new title called Now What?
Uh-huh.
And
Appropriate.
there
I'm thinking.
is, nobody has it in MaineCat. Sky River does not have it. I have told Sky River that that there is no record for this, although there is one. It's an ebook actually.
Mhm.
I have found in the past, Sky River, I have never gotten, when there's no record for something, I've never gotten a record from Sky River.
There's a known issue, and I can't remember. It's been over a year now. We've
Okay.
Probably
been
no
into that
staff.
meeting.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say personnel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So they had what they said, was it a year ago? And I just got another email last month about it, saying that they're still the same problem. They had transitions in-house. Plus then they had the merger, or I don't know what you call it, merger, takeover, whatever. ProQuest owns them now. And that task never got relayed from the last transition. And then with this new one, and so right now it is dead in the water. So you could.
Well, let me ask this. Did you happen to look in WorldCat to see if there
Yep,
was a record?
yep.
Okay.
And weirdly, and this hardly ever happens, but there are no copies in WorldCat either.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Well-
I would have just copied and pasted and threw it in there.
Right. Well, why don't you think about creating an original record? And there's different ways you can do that. One would be to use the guide that I
Isn't there a
put together.
template under new?
There should be.
Yeah, so,
Oh, no, a template. No, that's not really going to help you very much. I would say to use the form that
Yeah.
was part of that training that I did, and follow that, fill that out for a new print item, and
Okay.
then you can either take it from there or you can send it to me, and I will see what I can do with it,
okay.
if that would be easier. Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I haven't used it very often because I haven't needed to, but I have used it in the past, so.
Okay, well,
I
if
can do
you
that.
can fill that out the best you can and then send it to me, I'm sure we can take care of it.
Okay,
All right,
okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
And then Heather. I don't know. We can't hear you. I don't know. No, we can't hear you. Let me see. Yes, you can put it in the chat. Audio is not working right. Way to
Is there a way to add a picture?
Maybe.
Yeah. Oh, what kind, I mean, are you cataloging a picture or is it an illustration of?
Okay. So do they have ISBNs? Okay. If you send that in as a ticket, then we could submit that to Content Cafe, who does the cover images, I believe for MILS. I know it does for Minerva and Ursus. I'm pretty sure it's MILS as well. I think MaineCat is the one where we use library thing. And have them add the covers. If for some reason they're not showing, then it's that they don't have an image. And usually we just go to Amazon, grab the image link there and send it into them, and they'll add it in. As long as there's no conflicting, multiple items using the same ISBN, which we've had in some YA materials before, then we should be good to go. So just submit that as a ticket. Happens from time to time. Images just aren't in there.
Right.
They're pretty quick about doing it. It's usually just a couple days. Anything else? No? Any other simple cataloging tasks that you're like, I just haven't tried that yet? Nothing coming. All right.
Wow, if only Minerva meetings were like this.
I know. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yeah, Maureen.
I guess I have a question if no one else does. So I'm really, really new to the MILS system. I've been working in this library for just over a month. So this might be stupid, but it's something that I ran into recently. I don't know if you guys know about the book Melissa's Story, previously known as George. So the author changed the title after publishing and updated the bib record. And I wanted to change it on our copy, but the bib record that we're using is also used by multiple libraries. And I did find one in MainCat that has the alternate title. And I wasn't sure what would be the cleanest or best way to do it, if I should import the new record, edit the existing one, which wasn't one that we did originally. So I feel kind of weird like touching it. I don't know what the best way to go about that is.
That's a hard question because I really am not up to speed on that whole controversy. But I think maybe the quickest solution would to bring in a new record.
Okay.
Yeah. But there's got to be a way that you can I'm thinking you could add an alternate title to the existing record. And that way they would both be findable in the catalog, but that doesn't answer the question of what, the author's intent is. So.
Yeah, the author definitely made it quite public that they wanted the alternate title in the bibliographic record. But I still don't know if I should go in and make that decision for all the other libraries that are using the record.
Well, in that situation, I would email all the other libraries and say, this is what you're grappling with, and, see what kind of response you get.
Okay.
There's probably a lot of people out there that aren't aware of this, just like me.
Yeah.
I know there's been discussion of it, but I honestly haven't been able to pay much attention to it. So
there's a number of books in there. Well, 3 individual bibs, and then one where a couple libraries are on it. So I wonder if they're all different.
Yeah, it might have been changed since I last checked it. It was like a couple weeks ago, but last I checked, none of them, at least the one that we were under, didn't have the alternate title. So
No, I didn't see that either.
okay, I'll email everyone and see what they say, and
yeah,
if not, I'll just bring in the new one.
okay,
Thank you.
welcome.
And looking that over, Ellen, let me just share my screen with you. This is a good point, because I've been seeing this quite a bit in MILS. Do you see Sierra? Or do you
I
see?
do, yes, yeah.
So says book. I'm not sure about any of that other stuff, but if you look, it says it's one online resource.
Oh, but it's got the wrong material type.
Yeah. But I've been finding a lot of ebook resources that people are pulling in and not cleaning up for their print materials.
Ah,
So
yeah. And
I'm
who knows what's attached to that?
guessing, but these look, at least from the migrations I remember, these are print material.
Yeah. Can you go back to the other page?
Mhm.
So do we know who brought the record in?
Paris.
Paris, okay.
It was a while back too.
Yeah, so we need to find out what Paris actually has.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm guessing that, I guess I don't know. It's just really impossible to know.
Right.
But yeah, that would be something where the Paris Library would have to
Okay.
let us know what they've got.
Right. Now knowing, normally Paris is pretty good about cataloging.
Yeah,
And a lot of times their bibs that they bring in get overlaid.
oh,
It's entirely possible that, it's been overlaid for some reason as well.
right, right.
I'm hoping
Yeah.
not, unless it had bad information in it,
Mm-hmm.
but, because I know I've touched this
Yeah.
record a couple times.
But that is an important point, that when you're bringing in a record, to make sure that you're, bringing in the right material type,
Mhm.
or if you're just using it to, to sort of start a new record, you have to make sure that everything is in agreement as far as the physical entity.
Right.
So,
Yeah. So I don't know if anybody else has any other questions, if anything's come up. Yeah, Lee.
Lee.
Okay, we've talked about this a lot, so I apologize because I still am not quite clear on what to do. So when importing a record from from Minerva, I have found not a lot, but a few, say in the last couple of months, where if they're, and again, we're talking print material, so, released in hardcover, released online, as an online resource, also released in paperback. So say I have a paperback copy, it's got the ISBNs for all of those in the one single record, and I have no way of knowing what the other libraries have. So it makes me, just like was already discussed, makes me very uncomfortable to go messing around in the record.
Well,
for that
are you
reason.
talking, I'm sorry, are you talking about when you're bringing in a remote record?
Yes.
So you're the one that's originating it into the MILS catalog?
So it doesn't affect them when I'm bringing it in.
No.
I did not know that. See, I learned something new today. That's fantastic.
Yay. Yes, when you're importing a record, you can edit out all of the ISBNs that do not apply to what you're holding in your hand.
Oh, that's great, because I just went and found a Sky River record that had just the one thing. So that was
okay.
Yeah, so that's great.
Yep. No, what you do will not affect Minerva in that way. The only way it might affect Minerva is if it goes into Maine Cat and there's something wrong with it that's going to cause a mismatch.
Right, gotcha.
But
okay.
that
Fantastic.
sort of is, yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good question.
That was worth the price of admission.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Anything?
Quiet group. I imagine once people are more comfortable, they'll pile up their conundrums, and we'll try to do this more frequently too, just to be
Yeah,
like,
don't feel like a question is stupid because they mostly aren't.
great. Oh, yes, Deborah.
So I'm going to venture out on a very long plank here and say, or a request, for those of us who are so super new to all of this and new to the profession, I just wonder about a staggered sort of training, because I am so, there are so many basic things that I think the person who was before me helped train me, but of course you can't catch everything as you go along. For instance, I've been in touch with 3 directors ago who's a hotshot, and she tried to bring me through bringing MARC records in so that I could catalog, and she's like, you just cut and paste. And we tried it 5 different ways, and it wouldn't cut and paste into Sierra. So, I am, there are things that are just stubborn. They just don't show up anywhere for me, and knowing different routes to go to get the right thing would really be helpful.
That particular example that you gave of cutting and pasting, there is a little trick to that. I don't know if you tried it, but it's really just trial and error is how I discovered it. And that is, if you're going to paste a field into a MARC record, you have to first press the enter button to open up a space for you to paste that field in. In other words, if you just, if the cursor is at the end of a field,
Right,
don't paste. You have
Right.
to enter and then open up a new space.
Right.
And then you would paste into that.
so we tried that, and I guess what I was trying to do was eagerly paste all of them. And when I did that, a number would show in the first column, a number would show in the second column, they weren't together. So,
It doesn't paste quite like that. In order to get that to work, you have to do a find and replace to get some of the tabs in there in order to paste the whole entire MARC record. At least that's what I've found, Ellen. I don't know if it's been different for you, not just a field, but in the entire record.
Oh, no, I do it all the time, like all the time.
Okay.
But I think you just have to keep, I don't know, maybe I could demonstrate it somehow.
Yeah. Might also be how a computer's set up too. Like mine, I've got so many different programs with different languages that I have to go and tweak things in order to get them to work. So that might be why mine, I have to be very specific and do a find and replace because it converts things.
I know I can paste one line at a time successfully, but taking all of the information and trying to paste it, it just doesn't like it.
All right, well, should I go ahead and just demonstrate how I do it?
Yeah, if you can do it on the fly like that, that would be awesome.
All right, I'll share my screen.
Let me know if it gives you trouble.
Bear with me. Here we go. Okay, so this is the MILS CR page, and it may look different from yours just because I use different colors and fonts, but it's the same program. So I'll just take a random title, okay?
It's my favorite lately too. It's really easy. Lots of them.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to open 2 of these 4 Winds records and put them side by side. Okay, so can you see them together?
Nope. You got to go back out and share your screen. It's persnickety.
Stop share. Okay, now can you see it?
Yep.
All right. Okay, so I'm not gonna actually mess up these records and then save them because I don't want to do that. But let's say this record over here is the regular print, and then you can see the other record is the large print. But let's say, for example, that the large print record was missing all of this, like all of these fields, which I'm going to remove. Okay, so now they're gone. So I want to, I'm going to go to a different record and cut and paste. So what I would do here would be to highlight all these fields that I want to paste. And then I do Control-C to copy. Then I'm going to come over here to this record. I put my cursor on the tag here, at the beginning of the first line, and then I'm going to press enter. So now I have a new field with a question mark, and I'm just going to Control V, and it pasted them all in like that. And you can do that with the entire mark record or just parts of it. Like maybe this record doesn't have any subject headings, but this one does. So I'm going to copy the subject headings, Control C, come over here, enter a new line, and Control V, and there they are.
So can I just interject just for a moment?
Sure.
It's Ellen, right? I'm sorry.
Right.
Okay. So that is the procedure I was using, but it would not go in. And I wonder if it was the format. I wasn't taking from Sierra. I was taking from a mark record that was
And that's what I was thinking of.
from another location.
Right.
And it's, you know, you can gather it, but it's not formatted the way this is. So when you go to put it in.
Okay. All right. Well, let me just.
So one of the things I found is finding a system that's another innovative system works best most of the time. So Minuteman, Ohio Link, something like that.
But no, Deborah's right. When you do copy from something that's not, you know, live on our system, it doesn't format it correctly, and so you do just have to do it freehand.
Okay. Yeah, Barbara just mentioned text file first. Tried that.
Well, and that's what I do. I dump it into a text file, and then I convert the fields because what you're going to find in that is, even though you may have put it into a text file, there are still some fields there that need to be replaced with what Sierra has. And so I usually go and copy that space, those whatever tab or whatever it is from there, and replace all those in that text file and then plunk it in. It's work, but is it more or less work than copying each line and pasting it in? It all depends on
to me, it kind of sounds like more work.
Right.
What I would do in that case would be to just, you know, manually enter the mark codes and all of that, and then just copy the text of the line.
Lynn, can you repeat though what you said you did with it once it's in the text file?
So and this is just me. I mean, I can't really do it right off the cuff because I don't have a file to pull from. But I think do you have Sierra showing on your end?
Who, me?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, no, yes, I see Sierra.
Okay.
Yeah.
So usually where the problem is right here. It's not the text in here. So in the field itself, it's not usually the problem with those files. It's whether you're using a note tag or a note label, a label or a tag here. And then the spacing between that to the field number, and the spacing between the field number here to the indicator, and then from the indicators to the actual text field. That's where the problem is. And usually if I go and I copy the beginning and then paste it into the text file, I'll be able to see the little spaces and go and find or copy that and then replace all the spaces in between the fields. Like if you're not doing it regularly, it's probably more work. But once you have it figured out that one time, that one pain point time, then you know to just set up a macro and you can do it every other time.
So do you repeat it? I mean, do you replace it with just nothing? You say replace with
Well,
blank,
you can't see it, but when you copy this and you paste it into, and let me see if I have Notepad. See, I use Notepad++ also. So this is Notepad++. So when I paste that in there, you see there's a space here. and another one here. And I don't think I grabbed the beginning. No, I didn't. So let me grab this whole field. So right now I have note. When you grab, so this is what you're gonna have a MARC record that has none of the tags and none of these note, subject, added author, related to labels. So when you grab a MARC record, it's gonna be just like this. There's gonna be a space here. Oh, of course, it's gonna give me a hard time. Let me just put something in there. So it's one of those things that's kind of hard to demonstrate off the cuff. But see, it has that question mark. You can insert that. Then the space between that, it might actually be a tab. It's hard for me to tell. So I usually just copy it. And you can find and replace in that document, or depending on how big it is, maybe just easily just manually replace it. But you take those spaces and replace it in that weird MARC file that you get when you copy it from, say, where's WorldCat? I'm looking for my world. And so this might be more technical than most want, but I can see it benefiting you, Barbara, for where you are, the kind of records that you have. And just because I know they're an innovative library or display. So and so what I can do is I can create a little cheat sheet to kind of highlight what I do. One, I deal with the tech stuff all the time in the systems. So I have to know some things that you guys might not need to know. Like, hold on. And my find replace isn't popping up with, because we're in Zoom for some reason. DC find, edit, Control H. No, it is. This is weird. Zoom is limiting my pop-up screen from popping up.
Can you do Control F?
Yeah, it didn't work. Control H for the replace function didn't work. And it's weird. So I don't know that it would happen in Notepad. This might be more of a longer. See if it comes up with this one. Okay, it's gonna come up with that one. So let me, I just copied the thing from there. So just bear with me a minute. So really, it doesn't normally take me this long, but I wasn't prepared for doing this. Okay, and so this is at the beginning. So there's a tab or a space and a question mark. And I'm just gonna do that right now, just so we can see something. See that that beginning piece is what makes everything flow into the other stuff. So if you do that to the whole file, so unfortunately in Notepad, because I don't use it as often, I don't know how to use regular expressions. And the only one that anybody would ever need to know that's at not the high-tech end of things is that this means the beginning, inserted at the beginning. And then you'd say, oops, sorry, let me take out that. Insert that, I'm thinking it's a tab and the question mark. And it would go to the beginning of every one of those lines and add it. And then you could just copy this and plunk it in. So I'll write it up. It'll be a little bit easier and I can show you the screenshots. And for some reason, I don't know why, but with Zoom, it's not letting my little replace box come up in Notepad. Plus, that's what I use.
And Lynn, will we be able to use whatever you give us for the cheat sheet in Word? Will it apply in Word?
For me, did you say Ellen or me?
When you do the cheat sheet for what you
Oh,
just
for this,
did?
yeah. It should. I'd have to just double check. Word does have some. Just
Mhm.
sometimes it uses a different code. It might not use the caret, whatever that is called. I call it the caret. It may not use that. It might use something else because Word has, you know how Word, like when you do line breaks and paragraph breaks, it has special codes for that. They have other special regular expressions that they use. So
Okay.
what I'll do is I'll do it for Word and Notepad. See if Notepad can do it. If not, then Notepad++. And if you don't do this very often, that might not be worth it. Like Ellen said, doing one line at a time, but generally I can go find an innovative library, copy all that mark stuff, and just at the very beginning, add that question mark and the tab, I'm assuming is what it is. And it lines everything up. And so I'm not spending all that time doing one line at a time.
I will say, Lynn, I have never seen that before.
Okay. You learned something new too
Yeah,
today.
I did. Send me that cheat sheet.
Yeah, no, I'll send everybody the cheat sheet. Yeah, it's something that I use frequently for those weird stuff that people ask or need cleaned up. And it's just easier to copy someone who's already there rather than go and bug Ellen to create a record. So like if I can find it, tweak it a little bit, I can do it. So yeah, I will send that out when we send out the recording. And Lee, I see your hand up. Do you have another question? Nope. Okay. Okay. All right. So anything else pop up that like, oh yeah, I forgot. No? I think this was pretty good, you know, just off the cuff, open conversation. Let's see what we don't know, learn something new, something. Okay. Well, thank you guys.
All
I
right.
appreciate this.
Have a
And
great
we'll
weekend.
try to schedule it. So we'll try to do it every quarter so that we at least have a session for us to all to just come together. But don't hold on to your stuff. If you just happen to have something around that time, submit your tickets. I just don't remember that. Don't hold on to it in a pile and wait till just then. Don't forget, we'll forward your ticket on to Ellen or you can email her, whichever. So thank you guys.
Okay.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Have a
Bye.
good weekend.
You too.
Thanks.